Hello friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today we're going to take the design to the next level. If you remember, last September we created this flower bed and we put the bones of the bed in, the trees and the shrubs. So today we're going to take it up to the next level. We're going to add the next layer of perennials and annuals. This is all about creating these new beds and how we add to them each season and each year to create those gorgeous gardens that we love and the pollinators love as well. So if you've ever had questions about how to design a new flower bed, a new space, then this video is for you. So just kind of do a real quick little recap. Of course, last August and September, we did a major front of the house renovation. And part of that was that we created this new flower bed. We created the new flower bed, one, because we needed to, because we had to cut through the middle of this space to add in a drain. And while you're destroying part of the garden, you might as well just make it bigger. So that's when we had some fun and created this bed. If you missed that video, I will link that for you so you can go check it out and you can see all of the specific shrub and tree details in that video. Today we are going to be adding some Creekside Champion perennials in here and then 2 proven winner annuals. This is going to give us season-long interest and color and texture and movement, and my pollinators are going to go absolutely wild. Yesterday I spent a little bit of time in here doing a little bit of weeding. I cut back my butterfly candy buddleias, and I have gone ahead and placed my annuals. So what we're going to do is I'm going to plant and then we're going to go along for the ride. So as I go through each plant, I'm going to stop, I'm going to talk to you, and I'm going to tell you why you might want these same perennials and annuals in your full sun, no irrigation, terrible soil, high performing, great plants. Let's get started and have some fun on this gorgeous spring day here in North Carolina. Now friends, first up on the list, we have Peach Pearl Agastache. Y'all, if you're not growing Agastache in your full sun gardens, you are missing out on a great one. And Peach Pearl is so much fun because it takes what we know about an Agastache and it turns it a little bit on its head. In the fact of, while it still loves the sun, the pollinators still come to it, but it is going to have a nice short and wide habit. So this sweet thing, look at those gorgeous roots. I mean, very happy. It's why we love Agastache, because they are so drought tolerant once they're established. But Peach Pearl is only going to be 8 inches tall. Isn't that great? 8 inches tall and 16 inches wide. It is hardy in zones 6 to 10, so it is very adaptable. And as its name suggests, it is going to have beautiful peach flowers. This is just such a cool little plant that your pollinators go crazy over. And Peach Pearl is going to have gorgeous flowers for months on end. Now, when we get all of the plants in the ground, I am going to go through and talk about the overall whole design of the space. But what I have here is that this flower bed you see from 360 degrees. And the front yard is right behind me. So we have tiny quick fire here. These are nice, really short, tiny, petite panicle hydrangeas. So that way we're building up from the low to the high in the middle of the bed. So Peach Pearl is going to be perfect because at 8 inches tall but 16 inches wide, it doesn't block my view for the rest of these gorgeous shrubs. And somebody just went and took my pots. That little booger. It's not going to block my view. So I'm going to get the rest of the Peach Pearls in here. I'm doing a mass planting across the front. I'm doing 10 of them, spacing them out so they're going to grow together and have like a carpet in front of these tiny quick fires. It's going to be gorgeous. All right, so we got all of the peach pearls have been planted. Next up, we have probably the #1 seller for the Creekside Champions this past spring has been Flock of Flamingos Penstemon. Yes, my friends, Penstemon, yet another great sun-loving, drought-tolerant, gorgeous blooms perennial for your garden. Now, Flock of Flamingos is going to be hardy in zones 7 to 9. So I'm sorry, my northern friends, you could grow this, but it would be an annual, would not be a perennial for you. Penstemon loves it nice and hot. This is actually do full sun to part shade. So if you have at least a minimum of 4 to 5 hours, you absolutely can add this to your garden. It is going to be 14 inches tall, 18 inches wide. None of the perennials and annuals that we're adding today are going to be really tall because I want to see everything and not block any views. Now, the reason that you want Flock of Flamingos is because of these gorgeous flowers. So they have like a shrimpy kind of pink flower, and they will change. So as they age, they go from like a shrimp kind of pink to a baby doll pink. It is going to be a beautiful and very, very long bloom period on it. I have 6 of these dotted throughout the bed. So just like my peach pearls, we're going to use that 5-inch Jenny's Edition auger to get these drilled in. Use your biotone, and then it's on to the next one. Next on the list, my friends, we have a Kniphofia, a red hot poker. However, this one is not red, and this one is not as ginormous as you may typically think of a Kniphofia. This is Poco Butter Brickle. Y'all, this is about the cutest little thing you ever did see. It is a gorgeous yellow, as its name might suggest. It is hardy in zones 6 to 9. Full sun. Kniphofia love the full sun. And y'all, this is going to be so petite. It is only going to be 17 inches tall and 21 inches wide. We love Kniphofia because it is going to give us a long season of blooms. Here in North Carolina, I will keep this green foliage basically all winter long. People will come to the nursery and they say, what is that grass that is blooming? So it looks like a grass, but of course it is not a grass. And with these beautiful, bright, cherry yellow flowers, you are going to love the Poco Butter Brickle Kniphofia. So I've got 6 of these. I lied with the Flock of Flamingos. I only had 5. I think I have 6 of these in here. Again, dotted throughout and at that kind of that 17 inches with that evergreen upright habit. These are going to be more towards the center of the bed. So we're going to get these in the ground as well. I'm in the middle of planting the butter brickle. I had to stop and show you this. Y'all, even the roots are yellow. Look at that. Is that not the funnest thing ever? Yeah, I love that. So cool. All of the Creekside Champions perennials have been added to the bed. So everybody is nice and snug in their new home. We have 2 proven winter annuals that we are going to add to this bed. They are going to give us non-stop flowers from now until November when we get that first hard freeze. So what are we adding? Well, first of all, we are going to add a Gomphrena. This is a Truffula pink. Y'all, this is a great butterfly magnet for your garden. It loves it hot. It loves it dry. It loves to be neglected. Your Truffula pink is going to be in about that 24 inch mark. Very light, open, airy habit, so it's not a dense, compact flower. You absolutely be able to see through it. And this is going to be, I mean, it's pretty easy, y'all. Full sun does these pink little, we call them flowers. The pinks are not actually the flowers. The little bright orange flowers inside are technically the flowers. Tomato is gorgeous. So we're adding these in. Then we are adding in a salvia. I do adore my salvias. Now this one, y'all, we need some blue. Look at that gorgeous blue flower on the Unplugged So Blue. This is a great petite salvia. If you want a nice big one, go for the Rockin' series. In this bed, I don't want that height and that density of a salvia, but I want the color, I want the structure, and I want all of my pollinators to come to it. So that's why I'm going with the Unplugged So Blue. If you want that more petite in that 14 to 24 inches range, look for your Unplugged series of salvias from Proven Winners. Of course, this is a lovely blue. This is one of those that we sell, and Proven Winners will sell as a annual, but technically for me, it will be a perennial. I had them last year in front of my David Austin's, and they are coming back just as strong as ever because they are hardy in, I'm trying to find where it tells me, annual acceptance zones 8A, which that's what I am, to 10B. And even though we had a really kind of cold winter, mine came back as strong as ever. So I have got these clumped throughout. We're going to get these in and then we're going to move on because I'm going to completely finish this bed so it will be good to go all summer long. A couple more things we have to do to set ourselves and the plants up for success this summer. All of the perennials and annuals have been added to the bed and they are snug in their new home. So that is step 1. Step 2, we need to take care of the existing trees and shrubs that are in this bed to ensure that they have a beautiful, strong, healthy growing season. How are we going to do that? We're going to feed the plants, people. I tell you all the time, food equals flowers or growth, whatever you want to look at it. So with my trees and my shrubs and my perennials that are existing in the landscape, we feed them one time a year, coming out of winter and going into spring. There is grace in gardening, so there is a lot of leeway. But because this garden is going into its first summer It is not on irrigation. It is full. When I say from sun up to sundown kind of sun, that's what it is. So I need to ensure that they have tons of food available to them so that they are not under stress. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our nice slow release fertilizers. I have 3 slow release fertilizers in my arsenal. First, we have got Hollytone. Hollytone is going to go for my pine tree and my azaleas, right? So those nice evergreens go with Hollytone. Rosetone, we're actually going to use on the tiny quick fire hydrangeas that I have in the front. Hydrangeas and roses have the same nutritional requirements, so we're going to use that. And then last but not least, we're going to use Planttone. Planttone is what I call the Swiss Army knife of fertilizers. So when in doubt, use Planttone. Hollytone will also be good just for any of my evergreen shrubs, like my berry box in here, so that will be great. What I'm going to do is I have my little scooper right here, nice hard rigid plastic cup. I just scoop, shake around the drip line, and there you go. I will go ahead and tell you, if you're familiar with the Tone family, you know that it comes with a certain fragrance, odor. And so the best way to help kind of eliminate or dampen that is to put it down, and then if you have to mulch, which I'm going to do today, put your mulch on top and then water it in. That really kind of helps to tone down the Tone smell, wink, wink. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to apply the fertilizer all my existing trees and shrubs. Now the perennials that I just added and the annuals that I just added, I am not fertilizing them. They already have their food. They have the Biotone starter fertilizer, and then they have the Proven Winners continuous release fertilizer. If I need to, if I need to come in and feed my perennials, I need to wait about 6 to 8 weeks after I use that Biotone, and then I can come in with Planttone and feed them. Am I going to do that? I very highly doubt it. So we're going to feed, mulch, and then I'm going to show you this whole bed and give you a tour. My friends, today's project is complete. It's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It was an all-day project, but you know what? I just took my time, and if anything, I have said it once and I'll say it again. Gardening teaches you patience. Whether it's during the day where you think it's a half-day project, turns into a whole-day project, or it's a 6-month project, a year project, 2, 5, 10, whatever it may be. Gardens are not built in a day, right? And so we add layer by layer by layer. We have messes, we have successes. But the thing about gardeners is we tend to be a very optimistic bunch, and we are always dreaming and thinking and creating new beautiful spaces. Could not be happier with how this garden is set up for this summer. Everything is in. Everything is fertilized. It is mulched. Y'all, it was a whole pallet of the Daddy Pete soil enhancer, but it is down. It is nice and thick because putting down that nice thick layer of mulch is what's going to save me from doing a ton of watering and a ton of weeding, and the plants are absolutely going to love it. It is going to be spectacular. That is one of my biggest tips for gardeners, is when they ask, how do you prevent weeds so much? The answer is a nice thick layer of mulch. Now, it's no secret that we use a lot of the Daddy Pete soil enhancer, which is just literally aged pine bark fines. So it's pine bark that's been ground up. It is very light, it is very tilthy. Sometimes it's not the best thing when the 90-pound German Shepherd runs through it, but it does a really good job at preventing weeds from germinating, and everybody looks so happy. I'm so stinking impressed with this umbrella pine. Y'all, it is in the middle of what we call candling. Basically, it's putting up new growth. They call it candling because it looks like there are candles on the pine tree. Pine trees do this, right? So that's how they put out their new growth. So man, this sucker is happy. This is definitely a cute little specimen piece here in this garden, and yeah, I absolutely love it. Everybody is doing so incredibly well. So what I will do as far as maintenance on this is just keep it watered, especially for like the first 2 weeks with my new addition of the perennials and the annuals. Until those roots start to grow, I'm going to have to watch it. We are currently in a pretty severe drought. We got some great delicious rain. Today is Wednesday. We got rain on all day on Easter Sunday. And so the ground was already nice and damp and moist. Of course, the plants were well watered before I put them in, and then I watered them. But it is very, very dry. This Southern girl doesn't know what to do with dry air. So for the next 2 weeks, I will definitely have to keep an eye on it and keep it watered. Like I said, get those roots established. And then, of course, so we're heading into our first summer with these guys. So I will have to make sure that they get plenty of water if it does not rain. But that's why it's so important to add that nice thick layer of mulch, because it helps retain the moisture and prevent evaporation. Of course, we will keep you updated on this, but if you are a fellow Southerner like I am in these warm zones, you need to get these plants in the ground, especially if you're not going to have irrigation, because let's get them established before the crazy heat of the summer hits. It's easier on the plants and it's easier on you. As always, we hope you have found this fun, informative, inspirational, and maybe found a plant or two that you really love. As always, we appreciate you. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.